Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the Resume Makeover Workshop. I'm your host, Esmeralda Luna, career pause coach and founder of New Horizon Moms. A little bit about me before we start. I am a mom of two. I am a chemical engineer who worked in the chemical industry for 15 years in various roles. I took my career pause in 2023. And last year, I founded New Horizon Moms. I created New Horizon Moms because I want to support women professionals who are taking a career pause. I want to provide the resources and tools so that they can be prepared when they decide to take a career pause, so they can learn how to stay connected, maintain their skills, and gain new skills so that they are ready to head back to the workforce. And also to coach you through this new phase of life and how to make the most out of your career pause. So today, I'm going to focus on resumes. I'll talk about things to consider as you update or perhaps create a new resume. I'll also talk about how to address a career pause and how you can get further support from me. So before we start, I want to mention that your resume is an important document because it will be the first point of contact that you have with a future employer so that they can understand what are your skill sets and what makes you a strong asset to their team. So with that in mind, we want to make sure that our resume is one that is easy to read and has the important information that a recruiting manager wants to know about you. So the first thing to keep in mind is we want our resume to be easy to read. So here are some general tips to keep in mind. You want to make sure that your resume is 1 to 2 pages max. Anything longer is going to be too much, and it can be easy for a hiring manager to toss your application. You want to make sure that your pages are not crowded. So in general, keep page margins to 1 inch. And you want to use font that is easy to read. An example of a font you can use is Arial font. And when you submit a resume into a company's platform online, be sure to include a PDF format. It's typically not advised to include a Word document unless it's requested of you. And be sure to include any LinkedIn profile that you have or even a website that showcases your work. And in thinking about the ability to read through your resume with ease, make sure to highlight those areas that summarize your experience, actually talk about your pertinent work experience, your education, as well as any skills and awards or any other type of document you may have published. Here's an example of a resume that at first glance is not crowded. You can see here that page margins are decent. They are at a 1 inch. You can also see that it's clear where we are looking at in our resume, such as a professional summary, professional experience, and you can see education, skills, and awards. So if this document were uploaded into a company's system, it would be easy for what's called an ATS program to be able to scan and pull the pertinent information that it's looking for in order to make a decision as to whether you are a qualified candidate for the position you're applying for. At the top of your resume, you should consider including a summary statement. This summary statement should be one that when a hiring manager looks at your resume, they should be able to read this and quickly understand who you are and what are the key skills and talents that you bring to the position you're applying for. At a minimum, consider 2 sentences, but your goal for putting your summary should be something that grabs the attention of this potential hiring manager and that helps them understand who you are, and it should cause them to want to learn more about you and keep reading your resume. In this example that you see here, I provided my professional summary. I talked about my background as a chemical engineer that is also trilingual with a number of years of experience that I have in various manufacturing roles and different business processes. I also talk about my certifications and trainings. And in this particular professional summary, I talked about the type of role that I was looking for. As we get into the body of your resume, you want to consider how you talk about that work experience. We want to use concise statements, and we want this to be easy and quick for someone to read and pull what they need to. So for example, here, you'll see that in this description, all of the information is noted in bullet points, and we are starting each phrase with an action verb. So we're not necessarily looking for a complete sentences, I did this activity. We want to have something that gets to the point. So you'll see here some of the words that are highlighted. For example, innovated, optimized, initiated, engaged, led, drove. You want to make sure that these action verbs help to drive home the point of your accomplishments in each of the jobs that you mention. And also, anywhere you have the opportunity to quantify your impact, try using numbers, percentages, help the person on the other side learning about the type of work that you have done, help them to understand what impact did you have on the organization, on the team that you worked on. So for example, here you can see that rework was reduced by 30%, or rework was eliminated by 80%, or scrap was reduced by 30%. So again, these are ways to help somebody understand the impact that you had while you were working in a particular role. As you get further into the body of your resume, you'll also want to talk about soft skills that you have and software skills. This is important because along with the technical training that you have and technical experience, a hiring manager will also want to understand if you're comfortable working on teams, if you're comfortable leading projects, or if you know other languages. They'll want to know how you work with others, and that can help them assess whether you're a good fit for their team. As you'll see here in the example, the words highlighted are technical training, team building. You'll see bullet points around multiple languages and proficiencies. If you're familiar with Strength Finders, that's also listed here, and software skills. And this is particularly important if you are applying for a position that requires you to know an understanding of, for example, SAP or Salesforce, a particular Microsoft product, an engineering type of product. You want to make sure that you certainly highlight the experience you have with any of the software that the job you're applying for is requiring. Now, here are some things to not include on your resume. So the first is at the very top of your resume, it's not necessary to put your full address. It's sufficient to put the city and state. Nowadays, we do not need to include a headshot. This takes up space on a resume, and when we submit it through the ATS systems, there could be a chance that the headshot interferes with how that program works when it extracts the data, and you don't want anything that could mess up this process and take you out of the running for this job that you're applying for. Instead of having an objective statement, a professional summary statement is a stronger way to address your skills and your talent that you're bringing to a potential organization. And as you're thinking of how you describe each job that you've done, instead of focusing on the tasks that you did, focus on the results and the impact you had on an organization. And finally, at the very end, it used to be common to see references upon request. But with 1 to 2 pages, you really want to focus on talking about the things that you did and the impact that you had in those roles, and save that precious real estate on your resume for those types of content instead of references, because it can be easy nowadays to find people that a potential hiring manager can reach out to. So now I'm going to shift gears and we're going to talk about how do we mention a career pause on a resume. So maybe you're thinking about taking a career pause, or you're currently in a career pause and you want to go back into the workforce. My advice is that you should definitely talk about your career pause. Don't try to avoid it, because if a hiring manager sees a gap in your resume and you don't address it, or you try to brush it off to the side, they're eventually going to find out. So be ready to clearly explain that you were on this pause and help them understand what types of skills you gained while you were on this pause, or even what skills you maintained while you were away from the workforce. And when you think of, well, what could I include? Think about volunteer opportunities. Think about freelancer work that you may have done, caregiver work, even if it's not paid, any type of work that you have done or activities that support gaining of new skills, or even maintaining your skills that you have. All of this is valid and it should be noted, and you should get credit for it. Just because it was not a paid position or something that you volunteered for, it does not mean that it should not go on your resume. And this is a great time to think about, if you are just starting your career pause, what are those opportunities that I can look for to make sure that I'm getting those valuable experiences and gaining those new skills that I need for that next position that I'm looking for. So, for example, let's say that you want to pivot into a marketing role and all of your work prior to your career pause was not in marketing. Well, a great way that you could do that is perhaps join a nonprofit organization and join a position that allows you to do marketing work, so that even though it's not a paid position, but you'll be working with a team and you'll be learning new skills related to marketing. Or perhaps you want to gain some finance skills and you know that will be helpful for you in that new position that you seek after your career pause. There could be an opportunity in your community to help do some bookkeeping, or to shadow a business owner that does these types of activities. So this is a great time to also think about, if you're going to volunteer, even if you're going to do freelance work, make sure that what you spend time on outside of the other activities in your career pause, that they count towards the experience that you can put in your resume as you look for jobs after your career pause. And when you're ready to get into that process of applying for a role, you want to be ready to have what's called an elevator pitch, meaning that when someone asks you to explain why you went on a career pause, what you did, and what you're looking for now, you want to be able to clearly articulate, this is the reason why I went on a career pause, this is what I learned, and now with my new skills, I know I can be a great asset to your team. So the overall message is, you want to make sure that your future employer knows that you are a strong asset to your team. And even though you had a career pause, that was not something that negatively impacted you. It's quite the opposite. It made you an even stronger candidate for the position you're applying for. So I hope the information that I've shared has helped you get a better understanding of things to look for on your resume that you can update, or perhaps if you're rewriting your resume, how you can incorporate these tips to make sure you have a top-notch document that you can use when you look for future employment. So let's say you're in this process, or it's been a while since you've done something like this and you'd like a little bit more help. This is how I can help you. I provide a resume update package. With this service, I will take a look at your existing resume if you have one. I will update it based on what you have done. Let's say if you're in a career pause, I'll help you make sure to address that in your resume. And we will have a follow-up call where we will review this new version and I can answer any questions that you have. And as a bonus, I'll provide a LinkedIn profile review so that I can highlight for you those areas that you should consider updating so that when somebody finds you online, they have a clear understanding of who you are, what you're looking for, and how you can stand out against the competition. I also provide a premium resume update package. This package includes everything I just described in the basic resume package, and it also includes actually updating your LinkedIn profile. So I will work with you to make sure that all of the edits that I suggested in the basic resume package get on LinkedIn or even your website if you have that. We'll work on a cover letter, especially if you are going to be applying for a job soon. And even if you're not applying for a job, I will share a template that you can use so that when you are ready to apply for a job, you'll have it ready to go and you'll only need to update a couple things to be able to use for a job that you apply for. I'll also provide a script that you can use when you describe your career pause during an interview. And with this, you'll be able to have something that you can follow along, that you can practice saying, and will be very easy for you to share with somebody in an interview about what you did during your career pause. And in addition to that, I will also provide a mock interview practice session. So if it's probably been a while since you've practiced being in an interview, there's some skills to polish. And with this mock interview practice session, I will be the interviewer and you will be the interviewee. I'll provide you with a set of questions to prepare beforehand. And during our mock interview, you'll have the opportunity to have that experience to practice your interviewing skills. And I'll throw in some questions that you may not have prepared for, just so you can get a feel for what is it like when you're actually in that interview. And as a bonus, I'll provide a virtual interview success tips for you so that you know how to best present yourself when you're on camera, when it comes to good lighting, clothing, just anything to consider when you are behind a screen. And an interview can feel very different compared to when you are in person interviewing. And the second bonus is a priming mindset exercise. I believe that for us to be successful in obtaining what we want, it all starts with our mindset. And having a mindset primed for success, I believe, is what is going to be able to help us achieve what we want. So in the month of October, if you're interested, I normally offer the resume update package for $129. And in the entire month of October, if you would like additional help, this package will be available for $97. And if you're interested in the premium resume update package, in the month of October, I will be offering this package for $189. And you can use your phone to scan these QR codes and we can get started in signing you up right away. So thank you for joining the Resume Makeover Workshop. I hope the information shared with you will help you as you update your resume and prepare you for that next role that you're looking for after your career pause. Remember, you can follow me at New Horizon Moms, and you can stay in touch as far as other workshops like this that I will be hosting in the near future. You can also stay in touch by sending an email to newhorizonmoms@gmail.com. And thank you for joining. I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.